So you can kind of see the snow back behind me. It's a beautiful 50 degrees here on February 1st. I'm gonna go ahead and rip this down. This is gonna be the base of the mantle. This is gonna be the top of the base. And I need this to be 62 inches wide by 14 inches deep. I've already ripped this, now I'm gonna get my length. This is gonna be the lip underneath the top of this for the base of the fireplace. I need it to be 61 inches. So I'm gonna cut that down. I went ahead and made all my cuts. This is going to be the front of the base. It's just an inch narrower. That way I can build this, I can add the sides and also put the supports up underneath. This is just 1/2 inch MDF that I ripped down to be the right size that I need. So these will be the ends. These will be supports in the middle for my box. And then this is what I'll use to staple them all together. Just more of that 1/2 inch MDF cut down into little strips. So right here what I'm doing, I'm just adding these supports. I'm going to measure 20 inches in from each side because it's 60 inches, so you just divide by 3 when you've only got to put 2 things in, and that'll get you equal distance, 1, 2, 3 compartments of 20 inches. Alright, box is made. I'm just going to go and give myself a 1/2 inch mark. If all my measurements are correct, I should have a 1/2 inch lip all the way around the front and both sides. All right, we've got a box. I made a box. Yes. This back is all going to be covered up, so I'm just going to staple it down. So now that I've got my box together, I'm just going to give this a decorative edge. I'm back inside the garage. It got dark on me out there. This project's always going long on the projects. What I'm doing here is I'm making another box. These are going to be the upright portions of the faux fireplace, and I'm just taking these, they're 14 inches. This is 14 by 45. If you're trying to build this at home, your height might be a little bit different, but essentially you're just building a box. So what I'll do is put one of these on the bottom and the top. I'm gonna staple these in. I've gone with a little bit longer staple. This is gonna be on the side. If I have to do putty work to fill in the holes and make it look pretty, that's gonna be okay. And there's gonna be a lot of trim that goes on the outside of these, and I'll show you how to put that on as well. This is the start of my box. I've just got 2 of those little small pieces on the end here, and then I'm gonna build 4 of these panels just like that. So sometimes when I'm building stuff, especially when I'm building stuff without a specific plan, when I've just been given a picture by Jami and she says, hey, make this, I had an idea in my head of where I wanted to be with this project and how I wanted to go about it, but I made a bad measurement and I had to rip these down. Initially I told you they were all 14 inches and that these posts were 45. I decided to inset these inside, so these are now 45 inches and this is only 10 inches wide now instead of 14 because these are my sides, and if I put a 14-inch side on a 14-inch base, I don't have any overlap in it. It doesn't look as cool. So I already built one of the side supports. So these are the 2 pieces that I put together. I had 4 of them. So I've got a bottom and a top cut out, and then also the back. This is where most of the strength comes, so it doesn't want to tilt side to side. Most of the strength comes from that piece. So if you get to this point and you're like me and you're like, wow, I just built 3 boxes and it doesn't look very cool, I am in that same boat right there with you. Because building boxes is my favorite thing. Sometimes it can be really cool, and we'll make them cool here in a minute when we trim them out. So I just got 1/2-inch staples in here now, not nails, and I'm just using it to nail these in. I'm just making sure that the back is flush, and I'm stapling this into this support right here on this one. A little bit of glue, because the staples won't last forever, but the glue will make it very strong. So if you ever have to move it, the staples will wiggle out, but the glue will keep it all together. Okay, so I got a staple in the top. I'm gonna make sure this bottom is lined up. We're looking good there. I'm gonna do the same thing on the other end, put this on here. I'm just using my finger to feel right here along the edge to make sure that I'm lined up. Now we flip it over, and this is my support for the back. And I'm just going to run a little bit of glue, help hold everything nice and tight once it dries. And we put the back on. This is just 1/4 inch, it's called Underlayment. I have the base and then the 2 pillars, and we're gonna put little shelves in there, and then the mantle will go up on the top of this, and there's gonna be a piece that goes across the front to cover the fronts of these boxes that I built. I'm attaching this strip on the top, and I've got some 1 5/8 inch nails in the gun. I'm gonna put this part together here first, and then I'm gonna do a bottom support as well. And I'll just come back in through here with some lightweight, cover up those holes. And some of them are going to be covered up by trim. The top is going to be covered up by the mantle, so I'm more concerned that the side is square so that it sits nice and flush on everything when I set it down on the base. Got some support for the front here. And I need to fill this gap too. So what I'll do when I'm all done is I'll just trim this out, and then you won't even see any of that. And maybe it's a little bit of wasted space, but that's okay. I'd rather it's not necessarily built to hold stuff. It's more so it looks good. So I'm using overlay hinges, and I've measured 6 inches down and 1/8 in, and then these hinges here I'm going to cut the hole with a Forstner bit. It's a 1 3/8 inch Forstner bit, and the hinge will lay right in there like that. You gotta be careful because this is only 1/2 inch material, and this is almost 1/2 inch thick, so I gotta be careful not to go too deep. I left enough room in between here so that I can have a little bit of a gap. I'm just using an old piece of sanding paper as my shim, just folded over, and I'll use the same one on the other side, that way they're equal distances. But I'm just going to screw this up in here now and hope all my measurements worked out. I always got to cross my fingers on these measurements. These hinges have a alignment pin on them so that I can get my depth just right. And I'm just going to, it's resting on the shim down here on the bottom. I'm just going to go to the top of my groove. And this shim on the bottom still in. Perfect. I'm just cutting out the trim. The top of my angle here is just the width I need it here. So this is 14 inches on the top, and then I don't even worry about the inside. I just cut them at a 45 with the top, making sure that that is at least 14 inches. I'll do the same on the bottom and on the sides. If you guys watched the video on how I did the kitchen island, I fit that, just kind of pieced it as I went. I didn't do any measuring at all. That piece is stapled up in, so now I'm just going to mark. I'm going to line this piece up, and I'll just mark the back side here at the bottom of the cabinet, and then that's where I'll make my 45 cut, is right here. The edge of it will be, this is my long side, so I'll make sure that the edge of it gets the 45 like that. So this angle, when I initially stapled it up, came out a little long. So I just matched this up, and I don't really sweat stuff like that when it comes out long. I just take my file. And now that's nice and flush. Took about 2 seconds. Once we paint it, you won't ever even know. Also, if you make any mistakes or your angles aren't quite what you want them to be, this stuff right here will fix all your problems. This is the bottom strip where I added the support between the two cabinets, and I'm just going to put this little piece right in here, and then I'm going to trim out in front of that. I haven't trimmed up the sides yet. I'm gonna leave that for now because I'm gonna build some corbels. This is gonna be where the mantle rests, and I'm gonna build some corbels. I don't know how big, but they'll be the full width of this. So I'm gonna leave that blank for now because I don't have time to do that in this video. Maybe we'll do a whole separate video of how I do that and attach them. But for the most part, this is done. It's ready for paint, and I gotta cut the mantle to size, and we'll put that up there. I've got this big plank left over from the cottonwood table build, and I'm going to cut a big section out of this and use it for the mantle on the top of this fireplace. Alright, so the bottom isn't very functional like that. So I make these little inserts to sit down in here. I was gonna staple them in, but I decided to just leave them like that. That way if anything ever falls back behind, I can just pull that up and grab it. And I am leaving this gap open on purpose. I'll probably drill a hole up in the top up here. And then that way I can get electronics out or go up through here into the middle, which is still open and hiding, and get a lot of electronics out that way. That way it's all still hidden back behind. When building any kind of shelves, my favorite trick is to just get a board and then put the shelf support right in there on top of the board. Secure it in. Then I just take this board, put it on the other side, staple my other side in, and it's always level. I never have to worry about measuring or if it's straight or what's going on. I just use the board, use it to rest on there, done. I put this shelf high, that way if I want to I can put another shelf in here pretty easy and I don't have to really stretch the cords for electronics. Most of the electronics will sit up on here. I'm spraying the base of the fireplace in DIY White Swan. It covered in pretty much one coat. I had to do minimal touch up on it. The fireplace is where it's going to go down here in the basement. We've got the TV hung up above it there, and we've also got Jamie's chicken feeder on it. The mantle got stained in a live video that we did. We just used the real stain number 3 that we sell on our website on the mantle. And then I've got to hide some wires away for the TV and cut a hole in the back of one of the cabinets so that I can access the plug. But other than that, it's pretty much done. I'm going to go ahead and seal it now. I'm using Sweet Pickins top coat to seal this, because we want a nice matte finish on there, and it's got a little less sheen than polyacrylic satin coat. And I'm just brushing it on here with the Worcester foam brush, just the 3-inch. It's called the Foam King. We get ours on Amazon. They're auto shipped to us. Get one a month that lasts us about a month at a time. They hold up pretty well. Okay, so this is where this is going to reside on this wall. We put the TV up above it last night, and Jamie's got her little chicken feeder up here to hide electronic wires and stuff. You can't even really see them when it's off, but it looks pretty cool. I like it. To achieve this look on here, I used the DIY White Swan, sprayed it on with my Harbor Freight sprayer. I've got lots of videos on spray and paint if you guys want to check those out. You can find the paint at our website at jamirayvintage.com, and then also we used the real stain number 3 on this top mantelpiece, and that's also on the website. If you like this video, make sure you're giving us a thumbs up, helps us out a lot. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you know when we're going live. Thanks for watching.